Toss up, Utah Mammoth fans, and welcome into another Utah Mammoth Daily, I don't know. But here we are. I want to keep the positive vibes rolling because, yeah, the Mammoth are in a slump right now. And pretty much everywhere you turn, it's negativity, it's ho-hum, humdrum, woe is me. Let's try some positivity. I did that with yesterday's show with my 3 stars of the first month or so of the season being in the books and one player that needs improvement. Today, as you could probably tell from, right over, I don't know where I'm pointing, over there it is. We're going to be doing kind of the same thing, but with my top prospects, players that I'm most excited to see in a Mammoth jersey, either by the end of this season or going into next season. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I want to keep spreading positivity in this fan base because right now it feels like it's a toxic cesspool. So let's bring ourselves out of it and look forward to a bright future. And let's start looking at that bright future with Caleb Desnoyers, 4th overall pick in this most recent draft. He did have surgery on his wrist, but that's been healed, and he's looking the part down in juniors. He's looking like he is destined for a top 6 center line, if that's possible. Obviously, he's got a lot to contend with in front of him, with Logan Cooley being basically the face of the future face of the franchise moving forward, and Barrett Hayton was a top 5 pick in 2018. Let's not forget about that. Maybe he hasn't hit his ceiling just yet. He's pretty close, though. We know what we're getting with Barrett Hayton at this point is what I'm saying. So Caleb Desnoyers could be a top 6 center when he hits the league. He's getting rave reviews down there, and he's just doing a fabulous job in pretty much everything he's doing as that 4th overall pick. I mean, he's back with the Moncton Wildcats, and he's just fun to watch. If you see clips of him, it's just good stuff. So I'm very excited to see Caleb here in Utah sooner rather than later. There are a couple of centers that he could replace on the team, and he will replace on the team. And that won't be Jack McBain, though. Jack McBain is signed to that 5-year deal, and I'm very excited about 5 more years of Boehner. It's going to be good stuff with him. But there's room for Caleb Desnoyers, and I can't wait to see him here in Salt Lake City. So next up, second prospect is Tidge Ginla. I have really enjoyed watching this kid's game. Highlights or just clips, whatever it is, on like Twitter or YouTube, wherever you want to find him. He just is, he's fast. He's like a bull in a china shop, and he flies around. And he's on a pace right now in juniors that is just ridiculous. If he keeps up his current pace, he's on pace for an 89-goal, 119 points season. If he were to play in the rest of the Rockets games this season. Are you kidding me with the Kelowna Rockets? Yes. I think Tidge Ginla is destined to make the roster next season. Absolutely. If things go, sideways this season and, catastrophe, I almost said that word wrong. Catastrophe strikes, then we could see Tidge Ginla up this season. But I don't think catastrophe is going to strike, even though there's a lot of fans out there that are saying that catastrophe has already struck and this season's already lost. It's November. 65% chance to make the playoffs. But Tidge Ginla, super, super fun to watch. Utah's future is incredibly bright. And right now, up in the NHL, it's still really bright. And it's fun to watch. I want to keep these positive vibes rolling. I mean, yeah, it sucks to see your teams lose, but let's keep those positive vibes, shall we? Potential sleeper, and it's not even really a sleeper. We've already seen him play a bit in the NHL. It's Maverick Lamoureux. He's a big guy on the blue line that I think would complement Dmitry Simashev very well. If you want to do that, I don't think you want to break up Simashev and Sergachev all that much, but obviously, way more upside than a couple of the veterans on the roster. I think he would be an upgrade over a couple of guys. Obviously, Olli Mata having a down year. He's been a healthy scratch a couple of times in favor of Nick DeSimone. Nick DeSimone is something that has been really fun to watch. His energy, his just, I'm going to do it. This is my dream. I'm not going to go down without a fight. Energy mirrors that of a Michael Carcone or an Andrew Agazzino. So it'll be tough for Maverick Lamoureux to crack the blue line because of how it's all structured right now. But he's due for a call-up. I know I've mentioned him in a couple of trade scenarios because he is being looked at by other teams. Other teams want a defenseman like him, like the Sabres wanted Michael Kesselring. He's not the same kind of player, but the same idea. And so Maverick Lamoureux is my potential sleeper, not really a sleeper, kind of a cop-out pick here, just like my needs improvement guy from yesterday's video. But again, if you watch clips of these guys, watch the highlights, like they're fun to watch. And you can tell why Bill Armstrong and company drafted them and why they're ranked so highly in all of these prospect rankings. So Maverick Lamoureux is the potential sleeper cop-out that I have on there. And then number 4, this one's easy. If you've watched anything from this season, whether it was in the preseason or right now in the AHL with the Tucson Roadrunners, it's Daniil But. The kid's ridiculous. His recent hot streak in the AHL has him at 7 goals and 13 points in 12 games this season. And Bill Armstrong himself said on an episode of Frankly Hockey, that podcast, that Daniil But is going to be in the NHL sooner rather than later. He expects him to be in the NHL this season. So I think that's maybe a glimpse into the future of what Bill Armstrong's going to do as far as manufacturing a trade. But we're going to see Daniil But this season up with the Mammoth. I think that's going to be great. He's just a huge guy. He's still a little bit raw, but he's getting more and more comfortable with the puck on his stick, and his combination of size, vision, and his release. His release is, it's not as good as Dylan Guenther's because like nobody's is, but it would be pretty high up there on the Mammoth team already. So this kid, destined for the NHL. I can't wait to see him in a Mammoth jersey. And there are a couple of guys that he could replace. Michael Carcone, I love him. I love his game. I don't want to speak ill on his name ever, but he is small. And there is a book being formed about the Mammoth that you can push them around. And there's not much fight back except for a couple of guys like Lawson Krause, Brandon Tanev, and Jack McBain, but that's really it. If you get bigger guys in there, like a Dmitry Simashev, Maverick Lamoureux, Daniil But, Tij Ginla, that doesn't really happen as much anymore. So that is something to keep your eye on as well, just to see what goes on there. And then as far as like who they would replace, I'm glad I'm not in that position. I would like to be in that position because they do make a fair amount of money. But if I were to be in Bill Armstrong's position, it would be difficult because you want the young guys to get a lot of ice time, right? But you also don't want to disrupt your top lines and your stars. So obviously your Clayton Kellers, Nick Schmaltz, Logan Cooley, Dylan Guenther, those guys, their ice time is not going to go down. Even JJ Peterka. But there are others where you can do the healthy scratch, like a Michael Carcone or even Kyler Yamamoto. But then that's third and fourth line, and that's not a lot of ice time for those young guys. So man, I don't know what you would do in that situation, but I do know that the future is bright. I still have positive vibes about this team. I still remember what the preseason predictions were, and the Mammoth are still outperforming those preseason predictions. Everybody and their uncle had them at a coin flip for the postseason. I had them as a lock for a wild card spot, and I still do. So enjoy the season, everybody. It's fun, it's long, and we all love this sport for a reason. So keep your tusks up or your chins up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all tomorrow.